Fresno, California. It had taken 93 years for an all-Filipino world title fight to take place, and in the end it was a one-sided exhibition of Jerwin Ancajas' technically flawless skills. The southpaw from Panabo City, Philippines, retained his IBF junior bantamweight title for the fifth time, outboxing mandatory challenger Jonas Sultan to a unanimous decision victory. The scores were 119-109 on two cards and 117-111 on a third. Ancajas, the first of January 30, 20 knockouts, controlled the fight from the opening round with his piston-like jab, closing off all entry points for Sultan, 14-4, 9 KOs, to get on the inside and do work. Ancajas followed his jab with straight lefts to the midsection in the head and landed sneaky counter right hooks whenever Sultan lunged forward without his jab. Ancajas Sultan landed 234,147, thrown 773,555%, 30%, courtesy of CompuBox. Sultan had been stunned momentarily in the ninth round but wasn't ever close to being stopped in the fight. "It's not that I didn't want to hurt him, I just didn't want to be overconfident because we know Jonas Sultan also counters," said Ancajas. The crowd was restless after an entertaining fight, which preceded the main event, and let it be known, but Ancajas never wavered from his game plan of boxing and counterpunching. Sultan had some success peppered throughout the whitewash, landing left hooks over the right hand of Ancajas from time to time but never could get anything of note going. Ancajas and Sultan, both 26, began mixing it up more in the 12th round, giving the fans a bit of a show when the fight already had been decided. "It was a good experience to fight against Jonas. He hits hard, has a true heart of a Filipino," said Ancajas. "As I've said before, it's really tough to fight versus Filipinos because they continue to keep fighting." It was the first world title bout between two Filipinos since 1925, when Pancho Villa defended the world flyweight title against Cleverencio in Manila. Ancajas matchmaker Sean Gibbons say the reason Ancajas fought a safety-first style was the head clashes that often come with unorthodox versus southpaw matchup. "You should put a glove on top of poor Jonas' head the way that he boxes. The head comes before the punch, so after Jerwin got butted I think he got very cautious," said Gibbons, who was happy to see Ancajas get the win, even if it wasn't always pretty. "He put a clinic on him. You put Jerwin with David Carmona and he looks like $1 million. Ancajas' next opponent may be the man who had his hand raised in the co-featured bout. Calif, 24-0, 15 KOs, had a more entertaining than expected performance in his United States debut, dropping David Carmona in the first and fourth rounds, plus twice in the fifth before an exhausted and battered Carmona remained on his stool following the seventh. Saturday's junior bantamweight fight was the first world title bout between two Filipinos since 1925, when Pancho Villa defended the world flyweight title against Cleverencio in Manila. Mikey Williams, top-ranked. There was danger throughout. For your fight, the WBA 115-pound title holder from Birmingham, United Kingdom, who was supposed to be making his third title defense until Carmona blew the weigh-in by 3.6 pounds the day before. The fight went on as a non-title bout, and the size advantage Carmona enjoyed helped even the disparity in talent as he stunned Villa with a left hook shortly after getting off the canvas in the first round. Whether he was consciously trying to make an impression on American fans or he was sucked into a brawl due to his early success, Villa altered preconceived perceptions of him as a spoiler type of fighter who uses every inch of the ring to outmaneuver opponents. The loss sends Carmona to his fourth loss in his past 5 fights and drops his record to the 5th of June 21, 9 KOs. Gibbons withdrew his earlier criticism of Villa as a spoiler, and said he'd be open to making Ancajas versus Sultan, though it wasn't his priority. "He actually surprised me," said Gibbons. "We're definitely open to fight the guy." Yet FI's promoter Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing said an Ancajas unification is possible, but they'd also entertain a fight with former junior bantamweight boss Roman Gonzalez, who was one of the sport's biggest stars before suffering back-to-back losses to Srisakit or Rung Visay. "It was a good performance from Calif tonight. He wants to unify," said Hearn. "When you look at the champions, I think Ancajas is not the easiest, but the easiest to do a deal with to make that fight. It's definitely on the horizon and quite possibly next." In an entertaining preliminary fight, Filipino boxer John Vincent Moral, 20-1, 10 KOs, scored a unanimous decision victory over previously unbeaten Ugandan Ismail Mwendo, 19-1, 12 KOs, in their 8-round junior lightweight fight. Moral, 24, of Panabo City scored knockdowns in rounds 1 and 5 from left hook counters and hung in tough as the determined Mwendo sought a comeback knockout in the late rounds. The scores were 77-73 on 2 cards and 76-74 on the third, redeeming Moral from his last fight, a 7th-round stoppage loss against Toko Conplary in his U.S. debut in December.